All right, this lesson is about the dative case, but I wanted to start this case or this lesson about an additional noun case with a review of the cases that we already know. Okay, so very quickly, very briefly, we have the nominative case, and you can see the endings here. And so in the first the first declension, we have we la, so they end with an a, right? The way they make it plural is we lie. In the second, we have amicus, and the way that we make it plural is with an I, okay? And with the third, we have mercator as an example, but remember that the third declension, there's all sorts of different words here. This could be leo, this could be sipax, all sorts of endings here. Flos for flower. But the plural is es. So you see some examples here, and the nominative is just the subject of a sentence. So metella, Willem entrat. So Metella enters the house, Quintus enters the house. Amici enter the house. Mercatores enter the house. So we have our nominative singular and plural endings here. All right. The other thing I want to mention, because I think probably we kind of forget about it, is that remember that the nominative is also used when we have a sentence that uses est or sunt, the verb to be, right? So these are called intransitive sentences. There's no action. It's just that something is something or some things are something. So in my examples here, I have the mother is Metella. So we're not saying Metellam, the accusative, we're saying Metella. Okay, we're renaming mater. Same thing, Filius as Quintus. We're just renaming Filius. So we're going to use the nominative again. Here we have a plural example. So there's two people, right? Keller and Alexander. Well, they are amici, nominative plural, and then the weary sunt mercatores, the men are merchants. So a really quick review of the nominative case, all right? So the second case we learned was the accusative case, and here basically the rule of thumb is that we're going to add an M to make things accusative singular, so willam, amicum, mercatorem, and just like in English, we're going to add an S basically to make things plural. So willas, amicos, mercatores. And you know that the accusative case is the direct object of a sentence. So here when we have Quintus is entering a house, we have to say willam. Or if he's greeting, saying hello to his friends, we have to say amicos. All right, now we've also learned that we have a bunch of prepositions where the accusative is the object of those prepositions as well. So I've picked a couple of them here. I don't want to belabor this point, but per, right? So he's walking through the house, and so we would say per willam. He is hurrying to the merchant, so ad mercatores. But the big deal with the accusative is that it's the direct object of sentences. They are receiving the action of the verb. All right? So our next case here is the dative case. Let's talk about this for a second. I'm going to hide the bottom here. I'll tell you that the plural here is pretty standard. Ises, so wilis, amicis, mercatoribus. So ises and ibises in the plural. Isis for the first and second declension, and then ibis in the third. The singular, notice these guys are pretty weird, right? So we have, instead of wila, we have wilai, which looks like that nominative plural, doesn't it? And then we have amico, and then we have mercatori. So we're going to have to spend some time getting used to those singular endings. But the plural, guys, ises and ibises. That's it. Okay? The dative case is essentially the indirect object of a sentence. Now, I don't know about you, but I only kind of understood what that meant when I was in high school. In middle school, I could recite it. It indirectly receives the action of the verb. I don't know what that means. So here's what I always tell my students. It's to or for whom you give or you show or you tell something. Okay? So in all of my sentences, Quintus is giving a gift. So he gives a gift to Metella. Okay? Quintus gives a gift to a friend. Quintus here tells a story. I wanted to show you that not just giving, but showing or telling. So he's telling a story to a merchant. And here is an example of the plural. He is telling a story to his friends. So it's to or for whom you're going to give something, you're going to show something, or you're going to tell something. I should also say that in English, we have two different ways of saying this. I could say in this first example, Quintus gives a gift to Metella, but I think too, we also say Quintus gives Metella a gift. So that's fine too. Quintus gives his friend a gift. Quintus tells the merchant a story. Quintus tells his friends a story. Either one is fine, but I tend to, especially when we're talking about like Latin 1, Latin 2, I try to use that 2 or 4 a lot just to really kind of hammer that point home. Okay? Now, in Cambridge, you learn this in stage 9, and then a couple stages later, we learn an additional use of the dative, which is really, really simple, okay? Because it only involves 4 verbs. That's it, okay? Here they are. Credit, which means like believes or trusts. So Quintus believes Metella. He trusts Metella. Placet means is pleasing to, okay? So Quintus is pleasing to his friend, okay? And then Quintus fauet, supports or favors the merchant. And then respondet kind of fits in with our give, show, tell kind of thing, because respondent means responds. So Quintus responds to his friends, or he answers his friends. Okay. Now these are just special verbs. They're strange verbs. And really, truthfully, the deal is that the Roman mindset here was that Quintus is giving his trust to Metella. That's the idea, even though just trusts or believes works in English. Same, placet is, I think, pretty self-explanatory, is pleasing to somebody. So there's that too. And then fauet is kind of the same thing as credit. So like I'm giving my support to somebody. So if a merchant is running for election and Quintus mercatori fauet, he's giving his support to the merchant. He is giving his favor to the merchant. That's the idea behind why those words are in the dative. But credit, placet, fauet, respondet, those 4 verbs, that's it. The biggest deal is that they are the indirect object.